Hi, I'm Alan. In this video, oh, finally! Oh, yes. This level kicked my ass, dude. This level's so hard. This level is so goddamn hard, bro. Yes, I'm so glad I beat this. This took so long, man. This took so long. Like, obviously, this is one of those levels that was going to be really hard for me just because of the fact that it's not my skill set, right? Like, I always preach to push your skill set. I always preach the idea of don't play within your skill set all the time. And this was one of those levels that I genuinely just played exclusively to get out of my comfort zone with. And I think I got a lot better at this game through it. I did not enjoy it very much. So this is the worst level. It's not the worst. It's my least enjoyed level this year. But that's not to say that it's a bad level or anything, but it's brutal. It's very, very brutal. But that makes 4 levels in a row where I've died to the last thing or the second last thing. I died to the last click of Omega Interface. I died to the last thing in Sand Sailor. I died to the second last click in Farbetti Theory. And the level before that, I also died to the last thing. I'm going to put this above Seri Never Clear, I think. This is going to be a very outlier opinion, but I'm going to put it here. I think it's harder than Rust. I think it's harder than Sarah. I think it's harder than Sand Sailor. I found that really, really difficult, man. Now we have the lineup, okay? So, the following levels that we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing Shardscape next. After Shardscapes, I'm doing my monthly sub-level, which is Super Mario Hate Club. After that, we're doing Terminal Rampancy, because I want to do like a hop and escape, similar to how I did with Starlight Summit. We're going to be doing Terminal Rampancy, which is 73 on the list. And then after that, we're doing Call Me Maybe, because that got rated the other day. So yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow for Shardscapes. That's going to be fun. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to more Jump Trash. Today, we completed Omega Interface, the final of the interface levels that I have yet to beat. And I have so much to say about this level, because I think this is a case of it could have been so unbelievably good, but it falls a little tiny bit short. Now, I want to just say off rip, I think this level is awesome. I really do like it. I think the basic gameplay itself is genuinely enjoyable. However, big fat however, this level feels to me like a lot of things were just second thought, right? Where a lot of the gameplay itself, while it plays absolutely fantastically, it just needed more time in the cooker, I can't lie. So the thing that I take issue with in this level is specifically the transitions into the waves and the ships. Now, the reason why the waves, the transitions into the waves themselves are rough is essentially just that they're blind. On full detail, I don't know how it is on LDM. I've heard it is a little bit better on LDM, but still a little bit rough. But on full detail, the first click of both the first and second wave at 8% and 27%, completely blind. You just have to get lucky with it. You just have to nail in some muscle memory and hope for the best. The reason I do not like this kind of stuff is the fact that I don't find deaths to be frustrating as long as it is my fault. If it's my fault that I'm dying, I don't really have a problem with that because that's just me making a mistake. However, with these two transitions specifically, it just isn't your fault. You can't see the input. You just have to click and hope that you nail it. And I just think that is poorly designed difficulty. Yes, you can have like off-screen stuff, etc. That usually works because, well, a lot of the time that's just a buffer click and it's just a little bit of memory. But in this case, you're just kind of like flash banged with this bright white flash that just kind of like removes any and all visibility to do the first click. So I had to use these like super abstract visual cues to like simulate consistency. And even then, a lot of the time it was just like, oh, I just kind of like, I still messed up a lot. And while it did make it feel a little bit more in my control, it took so long to figure these visual cues out. In the first wave at 8%, the way that I timed the wave was that I looked at the A in interface and I watched as it approached the middle of the screen and faded out. And then I just used my inner metronome to do like, okay, once the A is gone, I wait half a second and then I click. You should not have to rely on garbage ass visual cues like that to hope that you pass the part, right? It's just one of those things that it's so easily fixed by just bringing down the brightness of the flash or making the flash faster or have it happen earlier so that you have a clear visual indication of when you're supposed to do the click, because the wave itself is so fun. The gameplay is so genuinely awesome to play, but when the first click of it is so painfully poorly executed, it just becomes a moment of frustration. And especially with a level like this where you will get to 8% pretty much every single attempt, right? And the same goes for the second wave at 27. The way that I timed that was I looked at the yellow portal, fade into the corner of the right eye, and as it faded out, I was like, okay, I will wait about a half second and then I'll click. And it's just so unbearably abstract to find these visual cues that if you don't go out of your way to find these like weird setups, you're just relying on luck essentially. And I just think that's such a shame because both of those waves are just so fun, right? And the same goes for the ship transitions, where the reason why they are rough is that you have these invisible recorrectional blocks in the second one at 34, and in the first one is just you kind of just get flung out of it with slopes. I don't know if 2.2 made it worse. I feel like 2.2 might have made it worse because of the inconsistency or the more consistent, I suppose, transitions out of slopes just made it so that you couldn't reliably set it up the exact same every time because you wouldn't get flung up into the block. You would just kind of like get a little bit of a momentum thing going. And it just made them really annoying. They're really awkward, and I just didn't like the stray flies. I died there way too much, and it just feels bad to play, right? But outside of this, all the gameplay is really, really good, and it's very fun to play. But then you get thrown into the choke points. Like, you have 54 and 58, which are in the robot, which are super brutal. You have 49, 50, which is the end of the ship part, super difficult. You have 66 being the most awkward ship transition of all time. The 69 wave and the 74 wave are both unbelievably hard. I died to 74% 6 times. I passed it 3. And there's just so much nitpicking, I feel like. I feel like I'm nitpicking so hard with this level. But I think that's because I'm so passionate about how good the level could have been. While, yes, these are my personal issues with the level, I know that that's not going to be the case for everyone. From what I've seen, it is a fairly common consensus among people that I've talked to that, yeah, these things are just kind of like there and they're annoying, but the rest of the level is good, right? And that's what it makes me so frustrated, because I know how good the level can be. Because learning it and playing the level was super fun and super enjoyable, and then once I started getting consistent, and all of my deaths were 8, 18, 21, 27, 24, 34, 38, 41, 49, you get my point, right? Once all of my deaths were those individual percentages, it just gets on your nerves. It gets under your skin, and it feels like it's not your fault anymore. And as soon as it becomes not your fault that you're dying, that's when frustration boils up. You can hear it in my reaction. There was pent up frustration and anger because it felt like so many of my attempts were wasted because they weren't me making mistakes. They were the level just having weird, goofy decisions that just fundamentally, to me, makes gameplay less enjoyable. Visually, though, banger, absolute banger. And I think there's so little that needs to be done for this level to be absolutely fantastic. But I struggle with recommending this level. Not because of the fact that it's bad, but because of the fact that it can get very frustrating. If you're aware of the choke points and you don't really care about the blind transition, etc., definitely play. It's a unique experience and it plays really, really well otherwise. But yeah, it has its issues. It's a shame. But either way, join Discord, watch the streams. We're doing Shardscapes next. And buy the plushie. I'll see you around. Eat your green stealth. Stay hydrated, and I'll see you later. Thank you for spending time with me today. I appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day.